a competitor. Something Jaxson Dart has been from the very beginning.
I've been playing sports my whole life. I mean, I feel like I've kind of played everything. My first word was ball, so I was hooked on it from, the day that I can remember.
I remember a time in elementary that the PE teacher approached me and she said, "I love Jaxson. He's such a good kid. He includes everyone. When we play dodgeball, can you tell him to not throw it so hard?" He basically is like, "Mom, I mean, that's what you have to do. Like, you have to throw it hard to get it around this person or get this person out." He that concept he couldn't understand. So we kind of had to talk through, like, okay, some of those girls are getting hurt. You can't throw it so hard at them.
The physicality might have been too much for dodgeball, but it was the perfect skill set for the gridiron.
It's almost like something, the physicality of the sport is something that he loves. When he was young in football, he was a two-way player, so it was quarterback on offense, linebacker, safety on defense, and he loved to hit.
I fall in love with the process of, working really hard day in and day out to succeed something that you have aspired, since you were a little kid to chase after.
He wanted to work out all the nuances and the details and get it right. So he really was competitive with himself and driven that way. But he was definitely competitive with all of his peers.
But on the eve of his senior season, Dart watched as his peers earned the college scholarships he dreamed of receiving.
I remember going into my senior summer and talking to my parents, and football's always been my favorite. It's always been my favorite sport, but I was also a really good baseball player, and we had conversations like, maybe football's not it for me.
I honestly was stressed. He's seeing his peers, kids that he throws with or trains with, where he kind of knows how he sits as far as talent within those kids, and he's seeing offers just flying off the shelves, right? But not in his direction.
He knew that his situation should be different, but it was just one of those things that we just knew that we had to be that he had to be patient with, we had to be patient with, and there would be a time that things would come full circle.
I got fortunate that ESPN decided to come out and check out a school from Utah.
Lots of coaches were messaging him and saying, "We have our whole staff, we're watching the game, we can't wait for the game, like, good luck." And he would show me the messages. So I'm looking at like DM after DM of these coaching staffs watching this game.
He knew there was a lot of pressure on him that he had to perform at a very high level. Kara and myself, we knew that he had to perform at a very high level.
But we were confident. Like, we knew he would do his job. He just always has. And he's been really, really good in crunch time moments.
Looking for 6, and they got 6. Jaxson throwing a dart over the middle. After a first down pickup, Dart launches one deep. It's caught. Talmadge handling with a house call.
It actually was emotional because I felt like we knew that. I don't even know why I'm getting emotional now. We knew the doors were going to open.
Looking for 6, man wide open. Tell you what, Jaxson Dart was ready for his close-up. Might get a few more offers after tonight.
I think it was good for him because it was hard. It kept him hungry, kept him really focused on a goal.
I still remember hugging him after, and as we were hugging, we actually were emotional, thinking that, okay, you didn't just crack the door open. You really just showed the world what you can do. And then it was a crazy weekend. He had so many messages, I don't even think he could answer all of them. Talking to coaches all weekend, offers, it changed his life.
The timing of things ended up being the best because he went from not even having a rating going into his senior year, a very low rating, to top 10 quarterback in the nation, and then ends up winning the National Gatorade Player of the Year, Max Preb National Player of the Year.
When the dust settled, the signal caller from Utah went from unknown to QB at perhaps one of college football's biggest names, the USC Trojans.
I felt like in my mind that for me to reach my dreams, that I needed to be in that position. I needed to, fight for, the top spot. To outsiders, may look a little crazy. I don't think a lot of people thought I was going to commit to USC because of that quarterback room. I had a lot of confidence in myself, and ultimately I just wanted to be pushed, and I knew it was going to make me a better player.
But Dart quickly learned college football is a cruel world.
Yeah, I think a roller coaster is like to say the least. Going into your freshman season, I found out really early that college football has a ton of movement and is very unpredictable. My head coach got fired week 2 of my freshman season.
And in week 3, the kid from Kaysville was thrown into the spotlight once more.
They put me in on the second drive of the game. Kind of had a few, freshman mistakes early on, and then kind of just figured it out. Kind of was able to slow everything down in my head.
He recorded 391 yards passing in his debut versus Washington State, setting a USC freshman record. On the year, Dart racked up nearly 1,500 yards and headed into an off-season of uncertainty.
The question of who was going to coach, I think we were a little naive in that I think we felt like he would be well taken care of no matter what. Tides shift fast, and so we thought there was maybe going to be one coach, and then a last-minute change, and it was another coach. And as soon as we found out who they had hired, we actually got a phone call before they announced it publicly. And the phone call really was like, "Hey, Jax, we hired this great coach. This offense is going to be electric with the two of you together."
When Lynn got hired, I was ecstatic. I mean, there was no thoughts of me leaving. I was just super pumped to play for such an elite coach, and I thought that USC was going to be the place for me.
So we had that assurance for about 30 minutes probably. And then we quickly realized, he's bringing his guy. So it will be an electric offense, but it's going to be with his guy. You're the backup.
The night when he and Kara met with the coach, and he knew it was over, he made sure that he went to the team meeting and let his team know, afterwards, what his plans were and why.
Yeah, it was emotional, honestly. We were all together. There was a big group of us, and I remember when I told him, there were some tears between all of us just because we had such a great connection there.
Once again, his future was unknown, but this time the offers weren't an issue. It was finding the perfect fit in Oxford, Mississippi.
Really, just on my visit was the first time that I've ever really been to the South and got to experience this kind of lifestyle. So I didn't really know a lot until I got here.
We knew more about the football and the Mannings and all that kind of stuff, but we didn't really know a whole lot about Mississippi or Oxford or the university.
I can say within minutes of landing here, people approached us and were so friendly. There's a very, very warm atmosphere here that I think is unique.
Just know that everybody wants the best for him, and they'll go out of their way to make sure that he feels like not only that he's accepted, but that he's loved.
Jackson's path wasn't the one he always dreamed of, but it was the one meant for him.